Breaking news, an accused killer is on the loose after escaping from a transport van in eastern Kentucky. We'll have the latest on the manhunt.
A Kentucky woman is in federal custody accused of promoting ISIS. We're tracking the investigation.
And a scare on EKU's campus after a truck slammed into a student pedway. And now the damage will keep a busy campus road closed for days.
WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Good evening to you. We have some new information right now in the manhunt for an accused killer who escaped from custody this afternoon.
We're now told the search is taking place along Highway 52 just outside Beattyville in Lee County. Police are searching for William Napier. Police say Napier somehow escaped from a transport van while he was being taken back to the Three Forks Regional Jail in Lee County from a court hearing.
Napier is charged with murder in the stabbing death of Charles Costello. Police say Napier killed Costello back in July during a fight at the Jackson Inn in Breathitt County. There are reports Napier jumped into the Kentucky River near Rock of Ages Road. K-9 units have been brought in to help search for him right now.
Police in Maysville say federal authorities have taken a Kentucky woman into custody.
55-year-old Marie Castelli is accused of promoting ISIS and calling for terrorist attacks in the U.S. WKYT's Kristen Kennedy is at the live desk for us with our top story at 5. Kristen?
Amber, the Maysville police did confirm for us that federal authorities took her into custody Thursday. The federal indictment shows that Marie Castelli knowingly transmitted communications intended to be a threat to injure the person of another, and also that Castelli willfully and knowingly made material false statements to the FBI. ABC News is reporting that Castelli advocated online for terrorist attacks in the U.S. and promoted ISIS propaganda through her social media accounts. We talked to Castelli last October. She was a neighbor of the mother and two children who died in an apartment building fire on West 2nd Street in Maysville. Maysville police say Castelli is well known in the business district. She walks her dogs in that area each day. They told us that Castelli, who is Muslim, has no local arrest record. At the live desk, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
Kristen, thank you. The FBI says the arrest is not related to the upcoming anniversary of the terrorist attacks on September 11th of 2001. They do not believe there is a current threat to public safety. Tonight, we have learned the identity of a man found in a burning car Sunday night. The Fayette County coroner has identified him as 24-year-old Joseph Trevor Dilger. We're told Dilger was a member of the Kentucky National Guard. When police arrived to that fire, they found Dilger's body in the back seat. The coroner says the death is a homicide but has not released the cause of death.
Police continue to look for answers in the killing of a pregnant woman in Lexington. Someone shot and killed Mariah Coleman and her baby Wednesday night while Coleman was walking her dog. A makeshift memorial with balloons, signs, and flowers has been set up on Winburn Drive, the site of the shooting. Police have asked any witnesses to come forward with information. Tonight on WKYT at 6, you'll hear from Coleman's mother. A Lexington man found guilty of killing his boyfriend found out how long he'll be behind bars. Police charged Matthew Donaghy with murder in the death of Todd Shoemaker last year. Last month, Donaghy was convicted of manslaughter. Today, a judge sentenced him to 10 years in prison. He asked the judge for probation, but it was denied.
A man was killed this morning in an Anderson County crash. It happened on US 62 just outside of Lawrenceburg. Police say a car driven by 24-year-old Aaron Cottle of Lawrenceburg crossed the center line and crashed into an SUV. Cottle died at the hospital from his injuries. Karen Tucker lives near the scene and says just months ago another deadly accident happened right in front of her house.
I understand that whoever was driving the car was weaving in and out of traffic. I don't know if drugs are involved. It's just very heartbreaking.
The other driver and a passenger were taken to UK hospital. The passenger is in critical condition.
A major traffic alert in Richmond after a truck crashed into a pedestrian bridge on the campus of Eastern Kentucky University. Officials say nobody was injured, but there is significant damage to the pedway, and Lancaster Avenue is expected to be closed for at least the next week. Sabir Rayford has more from EKU's campus.
Not long after the crash happened, people flocked to this area on Lancaster Avenue. Some people were just feet away when the crash happened.
It was a little terrifying to think that we cross this bridge every single day, multiple times a day, and any of us could have been on it.
Emily Castro lives right near the pedway, and she says at first she didn't think there was a crash.
I was sitting on my couch and I heard a loud sound that sounded like the garbage trucks picking up trash. But then a few minutes later we heard the siren, so I just kind of figured these might be connected, so we walked outside and saw it.
She's not alone. Groups of people have been coming up to the crash site to take a look at the damage. EKU's public safety officer says his main concern is keeping students safe.
We will not have an evacuation, but we will have an area that is set aside. It's going to be cordoned off with caution tape and barricading. We ask that everyone stay out of that immediate area until such time that the area is rendered safe.
That area the university is asking people to avoid is on Lancaster Avenue between the Eastern Bypass and Crab Street. Officials say this is the first time they've had a crash like this. They say the arm of the truck was raised when it hit the pedway.
I've been here for 2 or 3 years, and this is the biggest thing that I have seen so far.
University officials say they will have officers directing people who live near the crash site. In Richmond, Sabir Rayford, WKYT.
EKU President Michael Benson says insurance will cover the damage to the pedway.
Some big changes are headed our way for this weekend, bringing thunderstorms and then some much cooler temperatures. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey is tracking it all for us in the First Alert Weather Center. Chris?
Yeah, but we're starting out the weekend on a fairly tame note this evening. Temperatures are starting to steam it up a little bit as the humidity really starts to take off now. Where we've had more clouds, we are into the low and mid 80s. Where we've had a little more sun, it's upper 80s, flirting with 90 degrees across parts of southern Kentucky. We throw the humidity into the mix and it feels like it is 90 or better, even for a lot of those areas that are actually seeing temperatures into the low and mid 80s. So more humidity leading to some scattered showers and thunderstorms a little earlier. Some of that action clinging to far eastern Kentucky, ready to scoot on out of here. Bluegrass region, Lexington Metro, hello Cynthiana, Paris, Carlisle, Richmond over to Versailles and Lawrenceburg. Not a whole lot around us. A little teeny tiny shower beginning to dwindle now to the southeast of Elizabethtown. Better chance for some bigger boomers into parts of Indiana and Missouri and Illinois. Hour by hour future radar as we go through the evening, showing how we have the mainly dry skies. So as you gear up for an evening out on the town, we are in pretty good shape. By 1 in the morning, western Kentucky may begin to see a little complex of thunderstorms, but notice how that weakens the farther east that it gets by 5 o'clock tomorrow. But by in the morning, we're noticing a line of thunderstorms developing out across the west. That will be ahead of a cold front that is now surging toward the Mississippi Valley. And by roughly this time tomorrow, that front is on top of the Bluegrass region with the possibility of strong and severe thunderstorms. I'll show you who has the best chance for severe weather on Saturday in just a few minutes.
It's been a disturbing trend across our area, and now it's hitting another Kentucky community. Our county-by-county coverage at 5 starts in Rowan County. After a recent rash of overdoses, the county used its Code Red alert system to call every phone in the county warning about deadly heroin. There were close to 10 overdoses in one day, and Moorhead Rowan County EMS is just trying to keep up with all the calls. Narcan saved all but one life. Sheriff Matt Sparks says after there were overdoses in nearby Montgomery County, he knew it would hit Rowan County next.
Heroin's always deadly, but yeah, now that they're mixing it and they're cutting it with the fentanyl, the carfentanil, and it's a scary sight. Knowing that's coming, knowing there's not much you can do. We called every phone in the county yesterday when the first one started showing up. Warning people, if you've got loved ones, friends that you know are using or addicted to heroin, please try to convince them not to use.
The Rowan County Sheriff's Office is working with St. Clair Hospital to start carrying Narcan in its cruisers. In Laurel County, police have arrested a man for exposing himself at a nursing home while he was drunk. Police say Bobby Hacker of London was at the Hillcrest Nursing Home in Corbin when a nurse walked in on him exposing himself to one of the people who lives there. Officials say Hacker was drunk at the time. He was arrested and charged with alcohol intoxication, indecent exposure, and sexual abuse because the victim had been diagnosed with dementia. In Jackson County, family and friends will gather today to mourn the loss of a Jackson County teenager. 16-year-old Christopher Harrison died Tuesday from complications after a motorcycle crash. His visitation is tonight at 6 at the Lakes Funeral Home. Harrison was a junior at Jackson County High School. He was a JROTC cadet and joined the Sand Gap Volunteer Fire Department at just 14 years old. Harrison will be buried with full military honors.
A man has been arrested in connection to the theft of porch furniture in a Lexington neighborhood, the latest in 12 minutes. Officials in Florida have taken to the skies in the fight against Zika. We'll have more coming up in Better Living.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
It's a day that started out on the damp side for many of us into the bluegrass region and parts of central and western Kentucky especially, and it's ending, though, with a brightening sky, and that sky is showing up on top of Lexington Hamburg Pavilion in the distance. Temperature is shooting up a little bit, 86, but look at the humidity, 61%. Winds are coming at us from the southwest at around 8 miles an hour. It feels like it is 91. Thank you, humidity, said no one ever. Low and mid-80s in much of northern, northeastern parts of the region. Those are areas that picked up on more in the way of clouds and showers today than your neighbors to the west and southwest. What are we tracking out there for your Friday evening plans? Not a whole lot. Don't expect a whole lot over the next several hours. Into most of the area. Rain into eastern Kentucky. Some of these were the showers that were on top of the bluegrass region early this morning. That's skedaddling on out of the region, leaving behind nothing for the metro, nothing for Interstate 75. London, Somerset, Corbin, Williamsburg, got nothing going on right now. South of the Bardstown area, that much of a shower chance, and most of that is beginning to dissipate. A little better shot for some bigger thunderstorms now into parts of Indiana and Illinois ahead of a cold front that will be on top of us as we go into roughly this time tomorrow. And it is between that 2 and let's say 8 o'clock hour we have the chance for some strong and severe thunderstorms. That may hold off right until sunset for parts of the area in terms of the worst of the weather. Anytime you go from a steamy air mass like what we have now to one that is going to be much, much cooler, you get a front in here. Perfect timing on that into the heating of the afternoon can lead to severe weather. Storm Prediction Center has highlighted most of, especially central and northeastern Kentucky, for the possibility of severe thunderstorms with damaging winds tomorrow afternoon heading into tomorrow evening. And that's one, of course, if we get severe weather, you know what? We'll be all over it as always. We look through the evening. Not a whole lot that is out there. High school football fans, it's tropical, it's muggy, but many of you should be in pretty good shape. We go through tonight and tomorrow morning. More in the way of some clouds will filter in through noon, and then here's that line of thunderstorms popping as we go into the afternoon. It's going to be one of those days to where if you're outside, you're checking on our WKYT weather app, checking the radar, and you're seeing there's no line of thunderstorms out there. And then all of a sudden that line blows up right on top of the area, and then it races toward the east, allowing for some cooler and drier air to take over tomorrow evening. Look at the wake-up temperature on Sunday, and keep in mind, ahead of that front, some thermometers can hit 90 tomorrow. 50s Sunday morning. We go into noontime on Sunday, upper 60s to low 70s. We hit 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon with a lot of mid-70s showing up into most areas. And by 11 o'clock Sunday, already some upper 50s. Can we get an upper 40 in there? This model thinks so. We've talked about this for a while, haven't we? Upper 40s to low 50s to begin the day on Monday. Monday looks like another pretty good day overall as well. Upper 70s to low 80s. I got 82 on there. Yeah, I may knock that down a degree or two. We go to Tuesday. We'll spike it back to 85 ahead of the next cold front that can bring a shower or thunderstorm in here Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. What an interesting weekend, though. You know, fall around here is often famous for giving us another little uptick in severe weather. Tomorrow afternoon could be one of those days to really keep an eye out.
Really keep an eye on it. Those folks, a lot of folks trying to get in the last kind of late days. You were kind of telling me. Be mindful of it for sure.
If you're going to be outside tomorrow, you're not going to be checking a lot of social media. You're not going to be checking our apps and so on. Just know you have the potential for some big storms before the day's over.
You warned us. Thank you, sir.
Live look at Lexington rush hour traffic. There's a collision on the inner loop of the circle just past Tates Creek Road that police are working right now. That's showing one lane blocked. Outbound Harrodsburg Road slow approaching the circle to Man o' War. About 11 minutes to Versailles, 15 minutes to Nicholasville. Now back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Don. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton continuing to fight over who they believe will keep the country safest. The latest from the campaign trail next on WKYT. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton have sparred all week over national security. Today, the attacks continued on the campaign trail.
New developments from North Korea's nuclear weapons program are adding to the fight. Weijia Jiang has the latest now from campaign 2016 coverage.
Hillary Clinton met with a group of national security experts in New York on Friday. More than 50 Republican national security experts say Donald Trump will make America less safe, including former Homeland Security Secretary Michael Chertoff and Richard Fontaine, a former foreign policy advisor to John McCain. Both attended the meeting with Clinton. Trump says Clinton is too eager to go to war.
It's trigger happy, totally trigger happy. She's raced to invade, intervene, and topple regimes.
North Korea announced it has conducted another nuclear weapon test. Whoever wins in November will have to deal with the communist country.
The Clinton campaign says she plans to use sanctions to further isolate North Korea, and she'll seek help from China.
They don't want instability on their border, and I think this is a wake-up call for them, and we have to demand that they use their influence.
Trump's campaign issued a statement saying North Korea's nuclear program grew stronger while Clinton was Secretary of State. But Trump's manager won't say how he would stop their nuclear program.
He would make sure that they would never use it.
How?
He's not going to reveal all of his plans now. He's made that very clear, and maybe somebody can ask him in a debate.
The first presidential debate is scheduled for Monday, September 26th. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, the White House.
This week, Donald Trump said 88 retired generals and admirals are endorsing him. On Friday, the Clinton camp announced her list has grown to 110 names.
Lexington police have charged a man in connection to recent thefts of porch cushions in a Lexington neighborhood. Police say 26-year-old Harrison Whitlock has been charged with felony theft. He was already in jail for breaking into a home on Anniston Drive shortly after he stole the cushions. Earlier this week, home surveillance footage showed a man stealing couch cushions from a home in the Rockwood neighborhood. Police say the child that was seen in this video is the 9-year-old son of Whitlock's friend. State police are investigating a chase that ended with a violent crash. The young victims apparently runaways from Tennessee. We'll have more on the story coming up at 5:30.
New guidelines recommend limiting children's added sugar intake. And which airport is the world's busiest? Better Living is next. It is time now for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. The American Heart Association says you should take a stand against sugar, and there are some new guidelines. Graham Elkins explains why researchers are especially concerned about sugar and children.
Navigating the aisles of the grocery store can be tricky, especially when looking for healthy options for children.
Even very health-conscious parents don't realize how much added sugar is in child foods that seem to be very healthy based on their labeling.
Added sugars are added to processed and prepared foods to make them taste better. Studies show too much added sugar increases inflammation in the body's arteries and other organs. It can lead to obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, and eventually heart disease. That's why the American Heart Association got involved. The organization released its first ever guidelines for how much added sugar children should consume. For kids ages 2 to 18, no more than 6 teaspoons per day. That's about 25 grams or 100 calories. Sugary beverages like sodas and sports drinks should be limited to 1 per week. And kids younger than 2 should have no added sugar at all.
The beautiful thing about these guidelines is just how strict they are, and it really reemphasizes how easy it is to slip a few grams here and a few grams there of this added sugar.
Dr. Steven Sanchez at the pediatric clinic says too much sugar can hurt a child's metabolism and change their palate. Sugar cravings are real, but they can be stopped.
It starts snowballing in the right direction quickly, that they start craving more healthy foods as they eat more healthy foods.
By July of 2018, nutrition labels will help you make better choices. Added sugar will have its own line, so you can see exactly how much is in each product. Until then, Dr. Sanchez says stick with natural sugars, like those found in milk and fruits and vegetables.
As Graham Elkins reporting, Atlanta remains top of the list for world's busiest airport for another year. According to a report from the Airports Council International, more than 101 million passengers passed through Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International in 2015. Beijing came in second with nearly 90 million passengers. The Atlanta airport's location has helped it keep the top spot for 18 years. Hartsfield-Jackson is within a 2-hour flight of 80% of the United States population. location. Planes flew over Miami Beach this morning spraying pesticide to prevent the Zika virus. This is the first of 4 scheduled sprayings of the pesticide Naled. The pesticide is approved by the EPA, but some are concerned about the effects on people's health and the environment. According to the CDC, Florida has seen 596 travel-related cases of Zika. Now, here's what's coming up for you at 5:30.